Man, I was watching a video earlier, I believe yesterday, and Rome's Corner. Man, that man made some good videos. Go check him out. But he had a video saying who was the greatest heavyweight since Muhammad Ali, and that's an interesting question, man. I know we all have different discussions and different debates on who's the best heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. Man, it's tough, man. You got Holyfield, man. You got you got Mike Tyson. You got Riddick Bowe. You got um the Klitschko's, Vladimir and Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko. Man, you got a lot of great heavyweights, man, since Muhammad Ali, man. It's what Larry Holmes. Um, I wouldn't say Tyson Fury and them just yet because Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and Joshua, they just not getting started. You can't say you can't put them in there quite yet. They're going to be down the line because their careers are not not over, not have not came to fruition yet. So um in my opinion, man, it's tough, man. It's tough to pick the greatest heavyweight uh, since Muhammad Ali. I want to say, and you got Lennox Lewis in there too. I want to say, I want to say Holyfield because Evander Holyfield beat a lot of people, man. But then some people say Lennox Lewis uh, is the greatest heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. So they have and then some people gonna say Tyson. So some people gonna say Tyson. I mean I can start. I want some people to get in here so we can discuss this. So I can have more people discussing it. But Larry Holmes did have a nice long run. Larry Holmes was 49. I think he was 40. Was he 47 and 0, 48 and 0 before he left? Before he lost to Michael Spinks. I think he was 47 and 0. He was on his way to being a couple fights from being 50 and 0. And tying Rocky Marciano. Or I think he was one fight before he was tying Rocky Marciano or something like that. Some crazy number. But Larry Holmes did have a nice run. But a lot of people say Larry Holmes, when his reign happened, he didn't. It was a weak heavyweight division at the time. But I really wasn't looking at Larry Holmes. I wasn't watching boxing then. That was like in the early what? That was like in the middle 70s to early 80s or early 70s. So I don't have a whole lot of information on Larry Holmes except that he was a long reigning heavyweight. So he did have a lot of title defenses. He fought everybody of his time that he could have fought. But there's some people that he didn't fight. He didn't fight Joe Frazier. He never fought George Foreman. The only person that he really fought, he fought Ken Norton, and he fought Ali when Ali was towards the end of his reign. Ali probably shouldn't even been in the ring. But man, I want to say Evander Holyfield because Evander Holyfield beat a lot of people, man. Evander Holyfield beat George Foreman. He beat Larry Holmes. He beat Riddick Bowe. He beat Buster Douglas, who beat Mike Tyson. He beat Michael Moore, even though Michael Moore did beat one of the fights. He had a draw with Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis won in a rematch. Man, I want to say Holyfield so bad, man. He beat John Louise. Man, he beat a lot of people, man. Lot of people. Man, dude. He beat Mike Tyson twice. See, I know some people gonna probably say Lennox Lewis because the argument gonna be, oh, he beat Lennox Lewis, which is true. I mean, Lennox Lewis beat Holyfield, which is true. They had a draw, and then Lennox Lewis won in the rematch. But did Lennox Lewis have a better heavyweight career, resume wise than Holyfield? I don't think so. I think, and Holyfield was what? Holyfield won the belt like 4 times or some shit like that, 4 or 5 times. Oh man, I'm gonna say Holyfield, man. I'm gonna say Holyfield on a thing that he beat. He beat Mike Tyson. This man beat Riddick Bowe. Lennox Lewis never fought Riddick Bowe. He beat George Foreman. Lennox Lewis didn't fight George Foreman. He beat Larry Holmes. Lennox Lewis didn't fight Larry Holmes. They both had a good fight in both of their fights, so I can't say, yeah, Lennox Lewis does have the upper hand on on he does have the upper hand on Evander Holyfield because he did beat Evander Holyfield. But man, Evander Holyfield beat a lot of great heavyweights, man. It's like he beat a lot of great heavyweights, my dude. He beat Michael Dokes. Now he didn't fight Razor Ruddock like Lennox Lewis did fight Razor Ruddock. But see, what Holyfield did was, after Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson, Holyfield came and knocked out Buster Douglas. Then later in his career, he beat Mike Tyson, so he closed that chapter. He kind of, brought that to fruition. He beat George Foreman. Oh my God, he beat Burt Cooper. He beat Larry Holmes, man. Like I said, he beat Riddick Bowe, even though Riddick Bowe did win the trilogy that they had. But see, I gotta say that Holyfield had a better heavyweight career than Riddick Bowe, because Riddick Bowe he didn't get all what he needed to get out of his career, man. You know what I'm saying? Riddick Bowe, his claim to fame is beating Holyfield twice. You know what I'm saying? One time he did stop Holyfield. But if I'm gonna say best heavyweight career between Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, I'm gonna say Holyfield because he beat more people. You know what I'm saying? And Holyfield, he beat Michael Moore. Michael Moore was the first left heavyweight champion, southpaw heavyweight champion. Man, dude, I'm gonna say Holyfield, man. I know people gonna say, man, you gonna pick Holyfield and Lennox Lewis beat Holyfield, but Lennox Lewis, when he was right, he was great. Beat the 2 fighters. Lennox Lewis did beat the 2 fighters that beat him, but I'm saying, who you think had the better heavyweight career, Holyfield or Lennox Lewis? I know Lennox Lewis won the outright fight in the second fight, which that fight was close too, and they both had a draw against each other. But who you think had the better heavyweight career? I think Holyfield. Holyfield beat a lot of people, man. George Foreman, Larry Holmes, Tyson, Buster Douglas, Michael Dokes, Riddick Bowe. Holyfield was truly, yeah. But who you think had the better career between? See, I'm trying to figure out who's the best heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. Who you think the best heavyweight since Muhammad Ali is? I mean, you could say, you know what I'm saying? We can pick between. You can pick between whoever you want. I got the Klitschko's in there as in the running. I got Holyfield in the running, Lennox Lewis in the running. I put Tyson in the running. Riddick Bowe is in the running. Who else? Who else I got in the running? But you could pick whoever you want to pick, and you can make your case on why you think they're the best heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna say Holyfield, and I don't think it's a crime to say Holyfield is the best heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. He won the title 4 times. I think 4 or 5 times, some crazy number like that. He won the heavyweight title more than anybody. Won the heavyweight title. So you know that, I mean, that has to count for something that he showed perseverance and won a title that many times, man. That's crazy. Riddick Bowe, he just didn't live up to everything. Riddick Bowe, what? He just didn't. Vitaly Klitschko, the older brother, he retired in the middle of his career. You know, what's his greatest moment is Lennox Lewis, and he lost that fight. His brother Vladimir Klitschko got knocked out here and there, but he did have a long run. But he was robbed against? Yeah, he was robbed against the big dude, the big 7-footer. Yes, he was. And you know, the younger Klitschko, he did have a long run, but what's his signature win? I'm trying to see what's his signature win, because I don't know what's Vladimir Klitschko's signature win. What's his signature win? I guess you can just say the longevity of his career, the dominance that he had in like an 8-year span. I mean, it does count for a lot because it's hard to win in the heavyweight division. Larry Holmes did have a long heavyweight, but a lot of people say that was a weak era that Larry Holmes fought in. But Larry Holmes, you have to give Larry Holmes a lot of credit for all the title defenses he had in a row. You know what I'm saying? Holyfield had a lot of title defenses, but they was kind of broken up because he kept losing the title and winning the title back. But I believe Holyfield had a lot of title defenses too. He might not have as many as Larry Holmes, but he had a lot of them because he had the belt, lost the belt, so he had quite a few heavyweight title defenses. But I'm gonna say Holyfield. Holyfield beat Larry Holmes. He beat George Foreman. He beat Riddick Bowe. Now, he didn't fight none of the Klitschkos. That's the thing. Holyfield never got a chance to fight none of the Klitschkos. I don't know why he never fought none of the Klitschkos. He fought Lennox Lewis. He fought Bowe. He fought Holmes. He fought Michael Moore. He fought the big guy you talking about, that big 7-foot Russian, almost 7 feet or however tall he was. He beat him. But I don't know why. You've made a good case for Holyfield. Yeah, Holyfield got a great case, man. Like, Holyfield. And then another thing, you can go to Holyfield. You can always look at Holyfield fights, man. Holyfield has a lot of great fights, man. The Michael Moore fights, the Lennox Lewis fights, the Riddick Bowe 3 fights. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of fights, man, to where he just put it all on the line, man. The white Muhammad Qawi, I know, even though that was at light heavyweight, but that was a great fight. Riddick Bowe only lost once, but Riddick Bowe claim to fame is beating Holyfield twice, which I give him a lot of credit for that. But Riddick Bowe ate himself out of his career, undisciplined. Riddick Bowe had a chance to meet, like, skill for skill of Holyfield, the Klitschkos, Lennox Lewis, and Larry Holmes. Riddick Bowe probably got the most natural talent. Like, Riddick Bowe was one of the rare heavyweights that can fight inside and outside. I mean, this guy has very long arms, but he has nice, short, compact punches on the inside. See how he fought Holyfield in that first fight, how he just dominated Holyfield on the inside. For that big man having them long arms, he dominated Holyfield on the inside. I'm going to be right back. Who you have as your number one heavyweight since Muhammad Ali, or do you have one? I mean, you don't have to necessarily have one, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of great heavyweights since Muhammad Ali. Bo needed to fight Lewis. Yeah, potentially underutilized. Too bad. Very. Yeah, he needed to fight Lewis. See him throwing that belt. Him throwing that belt in the trash, man. That was a disgrace when he threw that heavyweight title belt in the trash. I mean, I heard the story behind it. I heard that Riddick Bowe tried to make the fight with Lennox Lewis a couple times, and it just fell through over negotiations for money and all that stuff. It fell through, but at the same time, man, he can't throw the belt in the trash like that, man. You can't throw the heavyweight title in the trash like that. He totally disrespected the heavyweight title. I think it had a lot to do with his manager. Riddick Bowe had a crazy manager, man, that really did a disservice to Bowe. But at the same time, Bowe got to take charge of his own career, man. You can't be letting your manager make crucial decisions when it comes to your legacy. Because he had to fight Lewis, and by him not fighting Lewis, and Lewis had beat him already in the amateurs, and in Olympic, in the Olympics to win the gold. Everybody looking at it like, okay, well, I got him beating him in the professionals. Yeah, Rock Newman. Yeah, Rock Newman was crazy. That was a crazy dude, man. I think he had good intentions, but he didn't make all the right moves. He didn't make all the right moves for Bowe, man. But hey, at the same time, the fighter got to take charge of his career too. You can't put it all on the manager. You know what I'm saying? The manager is supposed to be there to help guide your career, but you have to ultimately have to say so in what happens. You can't let your manager, you know what I'm saying? You can't use your manager as a scapegoat for your career. But I can make a great case for Larry Holmes too, because Larry Holmes' longevity, you can't poo-poo on that. You know what I'm saying? Larry Holmes did carry the torch after Ali. I think Larry Holmes' big problem was, you know what I'm saying, Ali was not fresh out of people's minds yet. You know what I'm saying? In people's eyes, Ali was still the greatest. You know what I'm saying? And long as Ali was still around, he wasn't boxing anymore, but the aura of Ali didn't wear off yet, and I think that hurt Holmes. Holmes was a tremendous fighter, man. Great jab, great technical, can take a punch, can fight, can box. Yeah, Larry Holmes was good, man. Larry Holmes was real good. But yeah, I got Larry Holmes in the top 5. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he fought in the shadow of Ali. Fought in Ali's shadow, man. But see, I think it was more so. See, if George Foreman would have beat Ali, if he would have beat Ali, and then if Larry Holmes would have fought George Foreman and beat George Foreman, then I think Larry Holmes would have had a much better case of getting out of Ali's shadow. The fact that Ali beat, you know what I'm saying, the boogeyman and George Foreman, it really, and then had that thriller in Manila against Frazier. A lot of people just were so endeared to Ali, man. Ali had did things that a lot of people didn't think he would be able to do, and that's when you become a legend, a icon. Yeah, I thought Holmes beat Spinks in both of the fights, to be honest with you. I thought it was a good fight, you know what I'm saying? Holmes, to me, I know this is not how a lot of people look at it, but when it's a close fight like that, man, and you don't clearly beat the champion, to me, the champion got to retain his titles, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't be lifting off the titles off a champion, man, and you don't go in there and you can't go in there and just scrape your way through. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about Kovalev and Ward. Say what you want in the first fight with Ward and Kovalev, even if you thought it was close, which I thought it was close, and I did give it to Ward, but I had to think about it like, no, you can't be lifting that man titles off of him like that in a close fight. So I had to go back and say Kovalev won the first fight. Even though I was going for Ward, I had to, you know what I'm saying, I had to reevaluate the situation and say, nah, man, even though it was close, you can't lift that man titles off of him like that in a close fight like that. You got to beat the champion, man. I'm not saying the champion can't don't have to go in there and do anything. I'm just saying, like, you have to beat the champion. You have to go in there and beat the champion. The champion is a champion for a reason, so you got to go in there and you got to beat him. You got to separate yourself. The tie goes to the runner. What you think about the younger brother, the younger Klitschko career? Ward sealed the deal. Yeah, fight two. Yeah. Fight two. Ward just dominated him. See, that's how I thought Ward was going to fight him in fight one. I thought Ward was going to be more on the inside, and when I seen the first fight and I seen how Ward was fighting on the outside, I was like, nah, this not good. You can't fight Kovalev from the outside like that. You have to get on the inside of Kovalev's jab, because Kovalev has a crazy jab followed by a 1-2. That's how Ward got dropped. He got dropped with that jab 1-2, by that 1-2. You know, Ward threw the jab. Kovalev threw the jab. Ward was trying to come with his right hand, but Kovalev's right hand got there first because Kovalev was on a 1-2. And then in the second fight, which I thought how Ward was going to fight in the first fight, Ward fought the second fight like I thought he was going to fight the first fight. He came in on the inside of Kovalev's jab. And Kovalev, like John David Jackson said, Kovalev can't take it to the body. And he was killing that man to the body. And then he stopped him up top with the headshot. You know, the headshot got in there clean because Kovalev was worried about getting hit to the body. So, you know what I'm saying? Ward was able to make an adjustment. Kovalev tried to fight the same way, which I don't begrudge Kovalev from trying to fight the same way because he was successful in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? The winner never really make adjustments. It's up to the loser to make an adjustment. You know what I'm saying? You were the winner, so I understand that he didn't have to make an adjustment. He probably should have made a tweak here and there, but Ward had to make a major adjustment. That's what Ward had to do, and Ward did it. Ward fought different than he fought in the first fight. But what do you think about Kovalev? I'm not Kovalev. What do you think about the younger Klitschko career, Vladimir Klitschko career? Do you think does he have a argument for being the best heavyweight since Ali? The only thing about I don't see his signature win. Like, he had some knockouts. Now, he did beat a lot of undefeated guys that were contenders. That, you know what I'm saying? Most, you know, in a lot of eras, those guys, you have to keep the contenders out of the equation. Now, he did his job by keeping the contenders out of the equation. He didn't let nobody through the back door. You know what I'm saying? He beat a lot of guys that were undefeated at the time. You know what I'm saying? He beat Samuel Peters twice. You know, he beat a lot of guys that were at that time that were undefeated. But he don't have a signature. I'm trying to see his signature win should have been David Haye, but David Haye didn't fight good. David Haye toe was hurting, or he had an excuse about his toe. He had a excuse about his toe, so he didn't have no. He just didn't have no signature. If he would have had a couple signature wins in there, you know what I'm saying? Had a couple signature wins in there, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, he got a case, but I don't know. You need to put both Klitschko together to make one excellent fighter. Yep. See, they hurt each other. They hurt each other by fighting in the same era and fighting in the same division and ruling. They both ruled the division at the same time. Like, it's like you take half of the fighters, you beat them half, and I beat this half. You know, so when the younger brother lost against Corey Sanders, the other brother stepped up and beat Corey Sanders. They both beat Samuel Peters. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, they play tag team. If you put them together, you got something if you put them together. A lot of people say Vitaly was better. Vitaly was better. Vitaly was better mentally. You know what I'm saying? To me, it was more mental. The younger brother had a lot of talent. It just meant I don't think he was mentally tough, and his chin was not like his brother's chin. That was the difference. His brother chin wasn't like his chin. But you know, the younger Klitschko did have an 8-9 year run undefeated after he got knocked out early in his career a couple times. He went 8 years undefeated under the tutelages of Emanuel Stewart. And Lennox Lewis had the same problems. Lennox Lewis had chin problems. Well, not I ain't gonna say chin problems, but he got knocked out a couple times. And then when he got Emanuel Stewart, he had a long run. He did get knocked out by Hassan Rahman. You know what I'm saying? When he was with Emanuel Stewart, but Lennox Lewis was he didn't take Hassan Rahman serious. And in boxing, this game of boxing, you gotta take people serious, man. You can't, especially as a heavyweight, you can't be going there. You know what I'm saying? Thinking you going, you know what I'm saying? You can't come prepared. You will get put down, and Hassan Rahman put him down. But the division was very weak for it. Yeah, the division was very weak for the Klitschko's. Yeah, we had just got done with the David Tools of the world, the Holyfields of the world, the Michael Moores of the world, the John Louise of the world. You know what I'm saying? Those guys was not doing as good at that time. Yeah, it was a weak era. And that's how Mayweather was able to take over boxing, because the heavyweight division wasn't there. The heavyweight division wasn't. See, when the heavyweight division is flourishing, it's hard for the little guys to get through. And the little guys will have to do something really good to get somebody attention on them. That's why I love when the heavyweight division is flourishing, because then the little guys, they can't afford to be ducking and dodging each other. They have to put together fights to get some attention. You can say what you want to say. Everybody like to see big guys fight. See two big guys in there punching each other. Because we want that knockout. Everybody talk about the technical aspect of boxing. I want to see somebody get outboxed. Yeah, right. People want to see somebody get knocked out. That's what people really want to see. You can appreciate somebody that boxes, but you love when somebody get knocked out brutally. You know what I'm saying? I know it's just our human nature, man. We love to see fights. And we love to see the bloodiest fight we can see. Who you got? Finally, the heavyweights are back. But, yeah, they are back, but they're not fighting each other. Joshua. See, this is my thing. Eddie Hearn did do his job by fast-tracking Joshua to the title. But my thing is this. You can't fast-track a guy to the title, and then when he get the title, say he's not ready to fight the other guy that got a title belt. In that, if you don't think he's ready to fight all the other title holders, don't fast track him to the title. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Gervonta Davis. Mayweather say Gervonta Davis is not ready for Lomachenko, but he has a belt in the same weight class with Lomachenko. You can't say a guy is ready to win the belt, but he's not ready to fight any challenger when he has the belt. When you have the belt, you have a duty. You have an obligation to fight any and all challengers within reason. I'm not saying Gervonta Davis got to move up to 160 and fight Triple G. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you at least have to take care of your home. You have to at least have to take care of your backyard. Your backyard, Lomachenko is in your backyard. You have to take care of your backyard. If you can't take care of your backyard, don't have the belt. In my opinion, give it to let people fight for the belt that wants to try to fight for legacy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see Parker. I want to see Joshua. I want to see Ortiz. I want Ortiz to get cleaned up. I want to see Wilder. I want to see all these guys fight each other. Instead of arguing about who's the best, it's cool to argue about who's the best when you're talking about fantasy. Yeah, it's a tough fight, but Ortiz got to come in right. He got to stop all the shenanigans. Just come in right. But anyway, it's all right to argue when you're talking fantasy. Oh, who will win versus Sugar Ray Leonard versus Floyd Mayweather? Okay, now that's you know what I'm saying? That's because it's fantasy. It's never going to happen. We can have a good discussion about that. But I don't want to discuss who's going to win between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman when the guys are fighting right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have that argument. Tired of having that discussion who going to win. I think Keith Thurman is going to win. Somebody else think Errol Spence is going to win. You know, that's as far as we can get until the fight happens. I personally think Crawford is the best fighter in the world. You know what I'm saying? People can make a case for Lomachenko. People can make a great case for Golovkin. You know what I'm saying? I can see Golovkin and I can see Lomachenko. People making great cases for them. I'm not gonna argue about it. You know, no doubt. Best must fight. Yeah, best must fight. Best must fight, man. I'm waiting on Keith Thurman to announce his tune-up fight, which I don't call fights in boxing tune-ups. You know what I'm saying? Ask Oscar De La Hoya when he fought Felix Stern before he had to fight Hopkins. How that fight went. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got De La Hoya losing that fight. So I don't call you know what I'm saying? Look at that Crawford #1 pound for pound in my book. Yeah, Crawford #1 pound for pound. Crawford is definitely #1 pound for pound. The last undisputed champion in any weight class in a while. You know what I'm saying? I love the way Crawford fights. He's a fighter. He's a boxer. He can bang. He can fight southpaw. He can fight orthodox. The man got great foot movement, great IQ in the ring, tough, rugged. Yeah. I like to see what he gonna do at 147. He supposed to fight Jeff Horn, but Jeff Horn said he want $5 million. I don't know if Bob Arum won't give him $5 million. I doubt if Bob Arum give him $5 million to fight Crawford, but he gonna get in that ring with Crawford. Bob Arum gonna make sure he get in that ring with Crawford. Cause see, this is what Bob Arum really wanted Terence Crawford to fight Pacquiao. He didn't want Pacquiao and Jeff Horn, but you know Freddie Rose said that Pacquiao wasn't ready to fight Crawford or some crazy stuff like that. So Bob Arum's scenario is this: he want Crawford to beat Jeff Horn, and he want to set up that Pacquiao versus Crawford fight, which to me that'd be a great move for Crawford and his legacy. Now, if he could beat Jeff Horn, win the WBO title, and then he can come around and beat the guy that Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao and wrap that all up and get that scalp on his resume, that Pacquiao scalp on his resume, that'd be a great look. Because my opinion, Crawford already done enough to be a Hall of Famer. Crawford has done enough to be a Hall of Famer already. Anything he does now is going to be icing on the cake. And I believe Crawford can go to 147 and be undisputed at 147. I think Sanders can beat Canelo. Oscar is a problem. Oh, yeah. Saunders can beat Canelo because this one reason. You seen how Canelo fought against Lara. The difference between Lara and Saunders is Saunders will stay in there and throw his punches more than Lara. Lara always want to be on the move. Like Lara is always, and see when you want to move like that, especially when you fight in a big fight against the favorite. You know Canelo is the favorite. I mean Lara had to know that Canelo was the favorite. You can't not look like you're running from the favorite. I don't care how you know what I'm saying, you think you boxing good, you trying to do the Cuban style of boxing. I don't care how you put it together. You cannot fight the favorite going backwards most of the fight. You're giving up a lot of real estate. Now, if he was circling Canelo, going off on angles, setting down on his punches every now and then, trying to win some exchanges, he could have won that fight. But you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to take no chance. A lot of these guys think they can get in there and don't take no chances. You got to take some chances to win some big fights. You want to be in the big fight, you got to take some chances. You want to win and persevere, you got to take some chances. See, Billy Joe, to me, Billy Joe got some toughness in him. Billy Joe got some dog in him. Billy Joe don't mind sitting there, you know what I'm saying, exchanging with you. And I thought Billy Joe could have stopped Lemieux the other night. If he would have sat down on his punches more, he could have stopped Lemieux. Lemieux was mentally gone after the 5th round. Lemieux knew by the 3rd round he wasn't going to win the fight. I was looking at his face. I knew I knew technically he wasn't going to win the fight by the 3rd round. See, I didn't make it a prediction in that fight because I didn't see a lot of Saunders fights. If Crawford become undisputed at 147, he's entering the conversation. Yeah, he is. If he become undisputed at 147, he's going to enter the conversation of being one of the greatest of all times. ATG. One of the greatest of all times. If he become undisputed at 147, man, I got to put Crawford in my. But see, I got a lot of heavyweights in the top 10 because I believe you got to put you. It's a lot of heavyweights that dominated, and they got to stay in the top 10 because a heavyweight that dominated is going to always be in my top 10 because of the fact that the heavyweight division is at the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? That's why guys move up. They move up to show you that they can beat guys that are heavier. nobody's heavier than heavyweights. So, you know what I'm saying? People like Lennox Lewis, people like Joe Louis, people like Rocky Marciano, people like Holyfield. Those guys gonna always be in my top 10. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are gonna be in my top 10. You can't. A smaller guy cannot pull a heavyweight down to me unless, I mean, he just can't. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know Roy Jones got knocked out 3 or 4 times, 4 times, you know what I'm saying, since he was really Roy Jones. But to do what he did by starting at his career about, 160, winning titles, coming all the way up through light heavyweight, he skipped cruiserweight. Now, if he'd have won the title at cruiserweight, then that would have been nuts, too. I agree. The heavyweight champion is the best. Yeah, you have to, because you know when boxing first started, they had to eventually make divisions so because they had to save or protect the smaller fighters from the bigger guys. So you know, but Roy Jones is the only small guy that I will put in the top 10 because Roy Jones won a heavyweight title. Granted, he fought John Louise. He didn't fight the best heavyweight, but he did win a piece of the heavyweight title. I know he wanted to fight Lennox Lewis, but his father told him that's too much man to be fighting. His father stepped in and said, "No, you can't fight. You're not gonna fight Lennox Lewis." But I remember Roy Jones and Tyson was gonna happen. But you know, hindsight is 2020. Roy Jones was fast back then, and that was the Tyson after Tyson came back out of prison. So Roy Jones probably had a chance to beat Tyson. Now, not the Tyson before prison. The Tyson before prison would have beat Roy Jones, in my opinion. But the Tyson after prison, Roy Jones had a chance to beat that Tyson. What you think about Tyson fighting Roy Jones after he got out of jail? Who you think would have won that fight? If Roy Jones would have retired after I know. That's what everybody say. If Roy Jones would have retired after John Louise, Roy Jones would have been in the top 5. Probably you could have argued without being somebody saying you was crazy, you could have argued that Roy Jones was the best fighter of all times. Now I wouldn't have went that far, but the only little guy I got up there is Sugar Ray Robinson. Did he sleep? The only little guy I would have had up there is Sugar Ray Robinson. But what, my password? Yeah, so yeah, that would have been Roy Jones would have been, man, he would have been crazy all time great. But I'm gonna get off of here. I'm at like 38 minutes. I'm gonna get off of here. This is a great discussion. I got Holyfield. Who you got as the best heavyweight since Muhammad Ali? I'm gonna say Holyfield. I'm gonna put mine out there. You know, people can discuss, you know, in the comment section and see who they want as the best heavyweight. But I'm gonna say Holyfield. I can make a case for Holyfield, a great case, which I already laid out. Lennox Lewis, that's a great, because Lennox Lewis did come around and beat everybody to beat him. That's one thing about Lennox Lewis. He beat everybody to beat him. He beat Tyson. He beat Holyfield. He didn't fight Michael Moore. He did beat my guy. What's the name? What's that man name? Shoot, that I wanted to see Tyson fight. You know, the guy that knocked everybody out, short, bald guy, Hawaiian guy. But yeah, he did. He beat Razor Ruddock. Got his revenge against Hassan Rahman, knocked him out. He beat Andrew Golota, who gave Bo a lot of trouble. He made Bo throw his belt in the trash. Tua, yeah, he beat David Tua. I wanted to see Tua versus Tyson, man. I did a video about that, but that'd have been a great fight. But yeah, Lennox Lewis is a great one. But I'm gonna get up out of here. This is Boxing Talk 8576. I'm out.